I want the world to know. I got to let it show. That's
I'm
my song.
coming. Yes. I
Hey.
love me some Diana too, child.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God, I'm thinking about like what song, my song,
What's your song?
especially when I'm thinking about like a storytelling
Mm-hmm.
song is I'm catching hell,
Ooh,
living here alone.
alone.
Natalie Cole.
Yes, Lord.
I love that song because she sings it with so much emotion and
Mm-hmm.
you could just hear like times were rough, and she was telling us about it.
Yes.
And
Yes.
that was so good and it was so valuable to me. Like I just it's one of my all-time favorite songs. Um she's just telling a story. Any music where somebody's telling a story. We had an episode that we recorded a while back where we talked about sex, and I was talked about Tamar Braxton thinking about you all the way home, but she tells a
Right.
beautiful story in that as well. Yeah,
Hmm.
absolutely. So it's all about the
Story.
storytelling for
Yes, it
me.
is.
Absolutely. The power of the lived
All
experience.
right.
That's what we
All
want to talk to y'all about today. The power
of
of lived
lived experience.
experience. And we want to share our experience with you all. And so you can be empowered by it like we have been empowered by
Mm-hmm.
it. So thanks so much for tuning in to the A podcast. My name is JR Knight.
And I am Yaya Dawn.
And again, we welcome you to this beautiful conversation about the power of lived
Experience.
experience.
Oh,
Girl, we talk about our lives
all
all
the time.
too much. Do we talk about it too much?
I don't think
I
so.
don't know. I don't think we do. But we talk about it all the time, y'all. Absolutely.
Yes.
Why?
So I think one of the reasons, I mean, if we're talking like amongst each other and we're talking about our lives, it's because we're sharing similarities,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. Which is important because it's like I don't want to be the only one. Like,
right.
am I the only one going through this? Like, what's the tea?
Exactly.
You know?
And so sharing our stories with each other is comforting. Believe it or
Yeah.
not, it's healing.
Yeah.
Right? I remember when way back, I think it was like 2004. There was a meeting that I would attend, and there was this woman, and she's since transitioned. She transitioned last year, but every time she would share her status in that meeting, I'm like, why is she telling people her business? And so one day I got the nerve to ask her, and she said, "Well, it's not for others, it's for me. I'm freeing myself when I share my story." And I took a lot. I took a lot from that, and I think I started following in her footsteps, and I haven't shut up about my status since.
It bees that way sometimes.
Yes,
It does. So I want to ask you. I be feeling like I be interviewing y'all.
you do. He does and does.
But I just want to ask you, like, will you tell not just me, but the children, honey, the people, the folk, honey, what has been like an experience? Can you share like an experience of a time like you shared um, a piece of you, pieces of me? That's another song.
Oh, I
Y'all better.
love that.
Ooh, pieces of me. Now she did too much from one of them election years, but that song, pieces of me, I live. But yeah, share with us one of the times that you offered pieces of yourself, your narrative to others, and you saw like the instant like change in like attitude, belief,
Beliefs.
perception just happen.
I got you. I'll do that only if you do it as well.
I'll do it if you remember to ask
Oh,
me.
trust me, I will. So, listen. So that's why I love my job. My title is peer navigator. So that means I get to work with others who are just like me, right? And in this job, I get to educate folks. I have pre-test counseling sessions, post-test counseling sessions, and a lot of times I'm definitely educating those who come in to get tested.
Right.
You know, they ask
Right.
all kinds of questions, and to I've had people to come in and say, well, I'm going to kill myself or I'm going to kill so-and-so if this comes back positive. And so one time, sometimes, I asked them, well, did you have this conversation with them beforehand?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because if you had the conversation beforehand, then we wouldn't be having this conversation right now.
Now, because you and I had a conversation. I think it was our sex. Let's talk about sex episode where I talked about like my preferred method of protection of safe sex is communication.
Yes,
Absolutely. But go ahead.
Exactly. So that gives that kind of changes their mind frame.
Yeah.
And I've seen it. When I talk to people, I like to look them in their eyes.
Yes, I noticed that about you.
And so I do that with my clients. I do that when I do community presentations, and I can see when like the light comes on.
Yes, absolutely.
You know,
some of us be in the dark.
Exactly. And usually it's after I've shared my experience, and the first comment is usually, "Oh, you don't look blah 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 blah."
Yeah,
Listen. There is no look. There is no look.
I don't know how many times we got to tell y'all, baby. It ain't no look, baby.
I get tired of telling folks that.
It ain't no look, baby.
You know, but one time particularly, there are so many times that I've shared my status, and the gratitude. What I usually get is gratitude, appreciation. Depending on the scenario, someone even told me, and this is not even related to work, but they told me that I was lying. I just didn't want to, have relations with them. And I'm saying, like, why would a person lie?
I actually heard them like, why? I don't know why I would lie about this.
Right.
This is a strange lie to tell.
Right.
And if I am lying to you about this, especially to stay out of a relationship with you, then I really don't want to be in this. So just accept the lie.
Just go on about your business, right? But no.
But no, ain't nobody lying about that. You can believe them. I mean, you could believe somebody lying if they tell you that they negative. You can believe that one. That's safe to believe that lie. But if somebody tell you that they positive, let's believe that.
Let's believe that. No, it's not said. Shoot, so this is my new thing. I tell folks, listen, treat everybody like they're HIV possible.
Absolutely. That's why if somebody say, well, I'm negative, you can believe that that's a lie.
That part.
It's okay to believe that's a lie. Okay. But if they tell you they positive, then let's believe that's the truth. Okay. Absolutely.
And what about you, Mr.
I thought she was gonna forget. I thought she was gonna forget y'all. Nah. Ooh, I thought she was gonna forget. I swear for God, y'all. Did y'all? I know y'all thought she was gonna forget too, right? I know y'all know. But let me see. So if y'all thought she was gonna forget, then clearly you don't know y'all, honey, because she don't forget nothing. Okay.
Not too much, especially on my Prevagen.
But I will tell you. So I'm thinking about, and I'm actually looking at this little factoid here. Yes. Where peer-led education sessions result in higher retention and care. And it made me think about how this is so true for me. And that come from the JAMA Network in 2021. That was an observation. But this reigns so true with me in my experience because there was a point when I started doing work in the HIV field in Alabama, where I'm from, sweet home. Okay.
Nice plug.
Okay. And I had to, my role was testing, doing testing. And so I would go out and do community testing in the LGBTQ plus community, and our focus on youth. And I remember testing an individual, I think he was 15, and he came back with a preliminary reactive test. Later was confirmed. But when it came back preliminary reactive, I had not been disclosing to people about my status, not out of fear or shame or anything like that. I just decided that I just wasn't going to disclose. It just never really seemed important enough for me to do it. But for some reason, when this young man came back preliminary positive, I just disclosed without even thinking about it because I wanted him to know that somebody that was about twice his age was standing in front of him and that was diagnosed a few years older than he was presenting. And he just, it like instantly, because before I said that, it was like, I am going to die in about 3 hours is like the energy he was giving.
Right.
Right. Because I know I've even felt that way, you know? So, but just as soon as I shared my lived experience with him, the power of lived experience, this is what we're talking about now. As soon as I shared my experience with him, that light that you talk about, it shone so bright. Like like it shone so bright, it dried all the tears.
Yes.
Like it just changed his whole idea. Like it's like if the ceiling had collapsed on him when I had given him that preliminary positive result, it had been rebuilt, baby. I'm just thinking about HGTV moments right now. Like he had gotten a mansion in that moment. And to just kind of condense the story, the young baby is Sir Thriving.
Sir Thriving.
Thanks, Noonday, for that. Okay.
Yes.
Sir Thriving to this day. To this day. And that was like about 12, 13 years ago. So I've taken y'all back in time, about 12, 13 years ago. This baby had engaged in care, a young man now, okay?
Yes.
And is Sir Thriving. And I know it's because of me share my lived experience with him, because he tells me all the time.
Right.
You know, I've been able to live long enough and stay connected, because, you know, staying connected is another thing that I think is really important, not being removed from community that we're serving. Staying connected allowed me to continue to be a part of his journey. And so I've been able to definitely see where the power of lived experience shows itself. I really have. And and I'm wondering, because before we dove deep into this conversation, you also hinted, Yaya, about it offering us some peace.
It really does.
Tell us more about it.
So, again, I said it at the top when I said that, you know, us sharing with each other is like, first of all, I don't know if any of you out there ever heard this saying, pain shared is pain lessened, right? And not to say that living with this chronic illness is painful, but not to say that it's not either.
Right.
I'm just saying
both things are true.
Correct. And I'm just saying that when a situation is shared that with someone who is sharing a similar situation, it's easy. It's like you develop a bond.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so when it makes you believe that, or it lets you know that you're not alone. I know that I am not alone. There may be some things that in regular, you know, with community at large, that some people just won't understand.
Yeah.
But I know that you're going to understand. I can talk to you just about anything. I can talk with Noonday about anything.
Yeah.
Because we share this. We're in this boat together.
Absolutely.
So,
you making me think. Hit the people with this factoid at the top here,
okay,
because you own it.
Thank you. So this comes from the Health Communication Journal, and it was back in 2020, but it's still relevant today.
Absolutely.
Storytelling and HIV advocacy increases empathy and reduces stigma among listeners.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely. And that's why just hearing you speak here, talking about like how powerful and impactful our conversations are, is because that's exactly what it's doing. You know, it's reducing the stigma amongst us.
Yes.
Even.
Yes.
Okay. Because we out here and we letting y'all know that we are thriving like beasts. Okay. But we are still experiencing the effects of stigma each and every day. We are as I don't know if y'all been able to tune in. Now, if you've not tuned in to Stomping Stigma,
baby,
okay, go
back.
Go back up forward, depending on what direction you came in, and get you a piece of the conversation. Because we are, to Noonday's point, stomping out stigma every single day in an exhausting fashion.
Definitely.
Right. And so our stories, our narratives, the power that lives in these stories, in these experiences, are needed.
Definitely.
To do that.
Definitely. You know, to the point of stomping out stigma. You know, if if something is kept in the dark, right, and no light is shed on it, it may continue to grow in that darkness.
Yeah.
And so that darkness around stigma is ignorance.
Yeah.
People, because they don't know better, because they don't know anything about this chronic illness that is not a death sentence. I just want to put that out there.
Yeah, it's not.
This chronic illness, they will continue to perpetuate the stigma of that surrounds HIV. So one of the reasons that I talk about living with HIV so freely and so much is because I feel that if I can save, or if one person is saved from something that any of us have shared, then living with this chronic illness is not in vain. I say that this is my cross to bear.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Now I'm not comparing myself to that nappy-headed Negro from Nazareth, but just like he had a cross,
I just melted.
I have a cross. And so my cross is that I'm living with HIV. Not everybody can carry that cross.
Yeah, absolutely.
But we do, and we do it well.
We do it absolutely well. I actually want to take a moment to just chime in on you saying like this is a chronic diagnosis, and in a livable diagnosis as well. Like we are living proof of that. We are thriving, and we are 2 examples of 3. Okay, and 3 examples of hundreds of thousands of people. Okay, absolutely. So, but I want to just inject that you can find yourself being a person living with HIV and live and thrive, be the absolute best version of yourself. And you can die.
You're right.
You can die. Life is about choices. Life is about choices. And the reason that I say that is because I want everyone within the sound of our voice to know that you have the power to choose. And so we want you to choose life. We want you to choose love and joy. Yes, all the things that you deserve, okay, and you are worthy of.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
That's exactly what we want you to choose, because we've lost people.
From stigma. People were ashamed to share their status. They were ashamed to take their medications because of the stigma surrounding this illness.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. We're gonna hear stuff.
Yeah,
we're gonna hear it, whether we want to hear it or not. And we have to. I've said it. I've said this. Well, I'm about to say it, but I've said it. We have to be able to eat the meat and spit out the bones.
Yes.
Okay. And figure out how we can make best use of the information that is coming towards us, that will allow us to take it in and process it and help us grow into the beautiful beings that we are supposed to be, whether we're growing in the light or the dark. Okay.
Yep. Right.
Okay. That's what we've done. Okay. Because we're standing out in the light, shining bright like a diamond right now.
Right now,
at this moment, right now. But it's not always been that way.
Not at all.
We've been in the dark.
Heck yeah, baby.
We've been in the dark.
That's a whole nother topic, because
where there ain't been no light.
Well, this is about stories to heal.
This is about stories.
No, I'm not going to say that y'all don't want to hear about it. Let me say this. If you are in the dark, you're not alone.
You're not alone.
We've been there. And guess what? Sometimes we can revisit that.
Yeah, absolutely.
We just don't stay
We don't stay there. We
can't. No, it's too much work to do. It's too much life to live.
Stuff in the life.
Yes. That part.
Look, y'all already know how this go. Live your best life. I didn't say it. I ain't said it too much, because I'm going to say it again. You worth it. You deserve it. Am I talking to you? Am I talking to me? Am I talking to them?
All of us.
Baby, hello.
I love this episode. I love this conversation.
I'm so in love with this conversation. I just don't know what to do with myself, y'all. I swear.
I'm gonna tell you what we're gonna do.
I swear, I'm like, girl.
Listen. So guess what? Y'all see the passion. It's real.
It's real.
If you have any questions, comments, concerns, leave us a comment.
Leave us a comment.
Hit that like button. Follow us.
Share. Subscribe.
Share. We want to hear
all
your
the things,
stories.
all the
we want to hear
things.
your stories that heal.
Mm-hmm.
We want to hear your lived experience. There is power in that.
Yeah, absolutely. Share your trials. Share your triumphs.
How you got over. How you got through.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. Because that's going to be what someone else needs. But that's going to be the answer, the antidote.
Yeah.
To someone else. And maybe even me or y'all knew.
Right.
Hello. Reciprocity is real, children.
Please believe.
Look, you know the routine. Follow us on all your socials. We'll be there. If we're not there, baby, write somebody. Okay? And we look forward to hearing y'all in some future conversations. Again, like y'all said, like, comment, subscribe, and all the other things. I might be leaving out some things. You know, the kids, baby.
It's okay.
They'll let us know.
It's okay.
Baby, you didn't say.
Right?
Share. That's the one.
Yeah, share.
Share.
That was a good. I'm telling you.
What it was.
Definitely
Oh
share.
my goodness. And if you ever find yourself in the sunny South Dallas area of Texas, please visit us at 1705 Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard in Dallas 75215. 75215.
You might find yourself on an episode.
You might are standing side by side by one of us.
Yes.
Absolutely. So until next time, we'll see you on the A.